here, and I have deep-seated regrets in having this idea, and especially doing it with someone I trust as little as I trust Jeff. Is to do like the SNL Weekend Update style blind read of slides. So if you've ever watched Weekend Update since Michael Shea and Colin Yost have started hosting it, they do this thing every once in a while where they write jokes for each other, and the other one has to read it without ever having seen it before live on Saturday Night Live. Hilarity always ensues. It's a really great time, so look those up on YouTube. Jeff and I are going to attempt to do roughly the same thing um, with slides on topics in the Elixir space. Um, this is going to go terribly, I think. I don't trust Jeff. I'm super nervous. I'm not going to lie. I've had great regrets. So let's see. What other things? Jump in. Like if at any point you wanna unmute and heckle, or cheer for me like Aaron's doing. Thank you, Aaron. You can do that. So jump in and heckle us all you want, and we'll just see how this goes.
You're
Jeff,
doing
you
a
got
great
anything
job.
else?
Yeah, can we start now?
Yeah, go for it.
And if anybody is unfamiliar with the Weekend Update reference, I dropped it in a link of one of them into the chat, and I encourage you to check it out later on. They're very funny. Well worth the 4 or 5 minutes that they run that bit. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you've got our splash screen, and you got me in the lower left-hand corner. Again, we sort of touched on this very early on before many people had joined. I suspect that this bit really lands much better on a stage with the two of us presenting to the same screen. And you don't have to do any weird shenanigans to get the reaction shot of the person reading the slide that they have never seen before and are probably being set up for a fall on. So that being said, we're going to be handing off presentation as we go back and forth. There may be a slight delay in between. We'll try to minimize that. And again, you've got the lower left-hand screen here where I've got a little camera feed because we weren't really sure how big and visible our reaction windows would be in the sidebar. And frankly, I didn't want to trust that Google wasn't going to mess that up for me somehow. So we will try to make those transitions as smooth as possible. The very high level, we have each 5 topics that we're going to cover. I do encourage everybody to ask questions, but please let the jokes land before you do. And we'll go ahead and get started. As I've already failed miserably. Hang on a moment. Let's get that camera feed back up.
You guys can start heckling now.
Yeah, go for it. This is what we're here for. This is what the
Sorry,
people
I was
want
sleeping.
to see.
Is this all on the slide somewhere?
Boring.
Wait,
Boo!
there has to be jokes in order to wait for jokes to land, right?
All right, let me ask you
Oh,
this.
that
Can
was
everybody
a good
see
one.
me in the sidebar well enough?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we can see you in the group of all of us there. Yeah.
All right, well then, you know what? Let's skip the stupid, let's skip that, and we'll just go with the presentation. And hope
Is there a
that
way
hope
we
that it
can not
lands.
see you?
I don't know of that. You can close your eyes.
It's
This is
turning
very
into a roast
audio-based.
real quick.
This is a very audio-based presentation. So we're going to jump right in. Elsa is the best Kafka client because it doesn't funnel data through a single process like Broad does. Nobody likes Broad. Broad is a pain in the ass. Working with it sucks. I'm a maintainer, so that's enough said. Everything I do is golden, and many of you here know that just from association. Frozen is my favorite movie, and actually, to be really fair, Frozen 2 is my favorite movie because the 80s reference in who better than Chicago to channel in a power ballad in Old Norway.
All right, I'm
I'm
going to
sure you
jump in here.
qualified it with Power Ballad. I was completely off the entire Chicago track, but
I believe we
in
recently
that
saw a
frame.
tweet from Darby
Let it go, Matt.
praising Peter Cetera, so
Let it
he
go.
loves them that much.
So I love to make jokes about Frozen and Elsa, the Kafka client. Balzer is on the call. Balzer started Elsa, and he and Jeff and I maintain it. So Broad, the Erlang library, was named after Max Broad, who was the author Kafka's best friend. And Max Broad's wife was named Elsa, and so we named our Elixir client Elsa in that for that connection. But the only thing that ever comes up is Frozen. And the example app that I created as part of documentation is called Let It Go. And so this was a double whammy joke for both Jeff and Balzer.
I regret nothing.
A+ on the Kafka reference. I read. I didn't catch the Elsa parallel. Good job. That's awesome. We love our puns, right?
It's also by far the superior library. Just if anybody's out there looking to interact with Kafka, and I know there's probably people on the call who would tell you shouldn't, and we may or may not be the people in that group, but if you're going to use Kafka in Elixir, go with Elsa. I'm going to hand it over now to Johnson to take it from here on the next slide.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. How did I get roped in on one of your slides there? You bringing me into this mess?
Popcorn.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. I got a weird feedback there. All right, so if you got any complaints about this show, direct those to Crosby. Like if I just flipped off the camera and you don't like that, you take that up with Crosby, not me. All right, so dear God help me, editors. Oh, actually, this is a topic I quite enjoy. To make your experience writing Elixir better, the Elixir LSP project implements the language server protocol to bring rich editing features to your preferred editor. This is all true. The Elixir language server is written in Elixir. It's a very interesting project, and probably going to get even more interesting as the 1.10 and 1.11 compiler enhancements that Elixir's done get roped in. They're going to make it super powerful, allowing Vim to once again rise to the top of the field as the superior editor. God, I hate you, Jeff. Vim is by far the worst of the text editors. Emacs for life.
Lies.
Logging out. Boo,
Lies.
tomatoes.
Richard Stallman did everything correct in that regard. Emacs
No,
Lisp
where?
is
Walking
a
out.
proper. Emacs Lisp is a proper language, and you configure your
Why
editor
don't
with
you
it,
code
not
in
the
it?
abomination that is Vim script. Like
He
what?
eats
Seriously?
things off of his foot.
I feel like you're trying to exit
yeah.
this, but you don't know how.
The flame wars are major here.
Vim script is disgusting, but I don't like parentheses, so I'm
Seriously.
stuck in the middle, right?
Seriously, Vim is so good. My first girlfriend was named Vim, and I named my oldest son Vim as well. Oh, no. So my name is Johnson. I'm named Johnson because my dad's name is John, and so I am John's son. I am named like a Viking, and it is awesome. My son, Johnson's son, hates this pattern, but that's his name. That's not his name. I'm kidding. And no, that's not weird at all. I wasn't expecting a fourth bullet.
This is
Thank
sub
you,
bullet.
Jeff.
There are only 3 bullets.
Oh, I cut my Emacs slides out of this. I went with another thing, and now I regret it. God, I hate you. Is that a Waifu Vim pillow? You monster.
It may or may not be. You're going to have to tell me. How is it
Yep,
comfortable?
you guys all take that up with Brian.
I want a Vim body pillow. Come on.
All right, switching back. Everybody see me again?
I love how my name is tacked on in between everyone as the complaint target here.
I mean, we really need something to sync up our slides at the handoff.
Sure.
So I like Elixir. I want to be very clear because I know I can spell it. That's one thing. I always wanted to be an actor. And as many of you know, I'm a big ham, and this shtick is really just an opportunity for me, and I suspect Johnson too, to springboard onto the national stage for ElixirConf 2021. Hashtag get at me. Protocols. Protocols are the greatest thing that came over from Clojure. Actually, I don't like Elixir. You people are the worst. Why am I even here?
Jeff, I can't believe you would say that at an Elixir meetup.
I know.
You're a co-organizer of this meetup, you monster. Like, what are you doing?
It wasn't even a long con. It was more of a middle tier con.
Yeah, that did not
short
take
amount of effort. I get bored in isolation. No, and like, you know, going into the heart of everything that we're trying to do here is entertain while educating. You know, we wanted to be very brief, right, and have fun, but we also wanted to at least introduce people to ideas that ideally we have a mix of folks in the audience, some of whom ideally are new to Elixir and may not know where to go. And I think a really good conference talk, and I would count this as a really good conference talk, hashtag 2021, will wet your whistle just enough to go look up more, right? So one of those big things that makes Elixir awesome and you know, really makes its predecessor Erlang a fantastic foundation to work from is the actor model, and modeling the digital world in a way that is not quite so prone to bastardization as object-oriented programming, but still bringing in a lot of the benefits that one in academia would quote as being a value of object-oriented programming. And there's even folks who would argue that Erlang and implementation of the actor model like Erlang is actually the truest form of object-oriented programming. Protocols, of course, was borrowed from Clojure. Protocols are awesome, and it is one of the reasons why I could never go back to Erlang, no matter how much you can do in Erlang that is awesome. Being able to add that sort of polymorphic data handling is just a knockout of the park feature.
I can't believe you don't know how to spell Elixir.
I was just really tired.
Drunk.
And I hate spell check.
All right, everyone can still see the screen. I stole presenting from you. All right, here we go. The ecosystem. Elixir has really taken off in the last few years with a lot of high-profile projects beyond just Phoenix and Ecto to attract almost anyone. Yeah, there are a lot of high-profile projects. I think Broadway is an awesome project in the data manipulation space. And if you aren't familiar with Broadway, you should check that out. I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of what else he might be alluding to. So here we go with the next bullet point. Highlights include Nerves for IoT development. Of course, Nerves is huge and it's awesome. I have not done a ton with Nerves, but would like to do more.
Yeah, you're a real fanboy, aren't you, Johnson?
Pelame to, yeah, that's me. Pelame to compile Elixir to native code and eventually GPU. I didn't even know that was a real project. And Absinthe for writing GraphQL applications in Elixir. Yeah, GraphQL APIs are super interesting and useful. And I think we're going to see that paradigm grow and grow and grow. If you listen very carefully, you may hear these projects mentioned this week at LiveViewConf. Oh, that was a terrible joke, Jeff. That was
it really
awful.
was terrible, Johnson. I'm ashamed to be sharing this virtual stage with you.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is my joke, isn't it? Yeah. I think we should rename every Elixir meetup to LiveView meetup because really, like, we're all here for LiveView, aren't we? Let's see. What else is Jeff missing off here? Nerves, Pelame, Absinthe. Oh, the one I'm really interested in is Lumen. To have basically write Elixir or equivalent for the browser. I cannot wait to rewrite Emacs in Lumen to run Emacs in my browser. It's going to be amazing. Also, I assume we'll be able to run Doom with Lumen, which would be cool.
I think it's a failed project if you can't. All right, I'm stealing it back.
Take it.
All right, protocols. Let's go back to protocols because they are awesome. They are a solution to all of life's problems because they allow you to encapsulate the meaning of your data, instructs, and apply behavior to that data easily. And you can do it as many different types of data as you like. You want to define a new custom struct, you go for it, and you can make that data behave the same way as all the other custom data that you want. Very simple function head definition. Def protocol gives you the signature that that data type has to implement. And then whatever you want to do for your custom data struct to conform to that behavior, you implement that function with a def impl somewhere related to that struct. And you can do that a number of different ways in the struct. It's in the struct module itself or outside of the struct module, but with a little caveat option that says this is implementing for a particular named struct that is loaded into the VM. So you can extend the functionality of custom structs that your library doesn't even have control over. So putting data and behavior together is a great way to manage code in a large code base. We've done this ourselves in person and practice, and it means that we can get a very reliable and a very clean, behavioral abstraction regardless of the specific details or the form of those struct fields. And I'm better developer than you. Just trust me.
So arrogant. So arrogant. God.
I know about protocols. How many among you can say that too? Show of hands. All right, next question, Johnson.
Jeff is unmasked as the monster that he is. Finally, I've been saying this for years, and I'm glad everyone can finally see what's happening behind the scenes with Jeff.
I'll just rip off my obligatory Scooby-Doo mask, and you'll see a lesser man underneath that looks exactly the same.
So does that make us those pesky kids?
That is right, Brian. Every last one of you.
Rip off your Scooby-Doo mask and you find someone of lesser value underneath. That is, man, that's like a haiku. Shit, that's high poetry. I like that.
All right, here we go. Number 3 for me. Seeking validation. Wanting better runtime guarantees for data validation, Chris Keithley released the Norm library to Hex last year, allowing for simple predicate-based checks on any data you wish. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Norm, it is a very cool project. It's a little bit of like the ecto validation stuff you can do. It's a little bit like Dialyzer, but it all happens at runtime, and I've used it on some open source projects very effectively to say, like, is this the data object that it should be? Building on that foundation experience from myself and my colleagues, I created Normative to safely manage the shape and life cycle of custom data structs.
Hey, where is Normative, Johnson? Is that released yet?
Damn it, Jeff. Yeah, laugh it up, Balzer. So Normative was a project that I started, a little while ago before I took the new job at BlockFi. And it was basically going to be a helper wrapper around Norm to say, all right, I want to define a data struct and define it by a type and a type spec. And it would do all the specs, like for Dialyzer and all of the Norm validation stuff behind the scenes for you via macro. It was a really good idea. And if I ever have time ever again, I will probably ignore it. And none of this would have been necessary if we just had a goddamn type system like a big kid language.
That is a lot of hostility built up. Is that from Lockdown?
Jeff, we're recording this thing. Why would I say goddamn like that? We're recording this.
Hey,
Oh, that's
right,
just
right.
That's 2
unfortunate.
times now.
Yep. I shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have wrote that down. Me. That was definitely me. Yeah, big kid language has types like Java. Or
Hey, what you
Scott.
do under the cover of night with your computer is right. If it's right Java, man, that's fine.
No one spends their time doing that willingly, I don't think. All right. I've managed to insult two code languages now, so let's go.
All right. Why do I have to keep allowing? All right. We did that. I hate Elixir because first of all, it's really hard to spell, right? I don't know how to spell it. I really don't.
Good.
Not everything is a protocol. Not everything can be a protocol yet. Why can't I add two numbers via protocol? Why not? Maybe there's a way, but I haven't bothered to figure it out yet. And it's a poor man's Kubernetes. Why would you want to have a simple, lightweight process handle everything that a big fat tarball file system container could do for you? And why would you want to be able to manage the life cycle of those individual processes with very fine-grained control and ordered execution of processes for restart when you can just kill everything running in a single container and wait for it to come back up again? Kubernetes is clearly the answer. Really, I don't know why this isn't just the Kubernetes meetup.
Oh yeah, don't forget the YAML. That comes from the comments. That's a good point. Doesn't everyone just want to be a YAML engineer, really?
See, now to be fair, there is a YAML library from our friend Johnson's friend, actually, Corey McDaniel, out there in the real world.
Real friends, real world.
I think they're lovers in the night.
Hey, now you're recording
pull
this,
request accepted.
All right. No, but seriously, why can't everything be a protocol? It just makes sense, damn it. All right. The roommate. Where is this going? Gleamlang is Rust's latest move to give Elixir the single white female treatment, offering a static type system and ML-inspired syntax on top of promising all the pipe operator and OTP goodness you love. Yeah, why do you do this to me? I'm not touching that one. The obsession started when the two languages were introduced via Rustler Niffing library and got serious with the introduction of Dockyard's Lumen project last year, re-implementing the Beam for WebAssembly in Rust. Yeah, I already talked about Lumen. I think it's going to be an awesome project. I can't wait to see where that goes. If Elixir ever gets suspicious, expect Rust to escalate by killing the Elixir cast dog and sleeping with Elixir's boyfriend's Closure. Yep. Yeah. What more can I say, really? Like, I don't know where to go from there. Oh, and pictures. Lovely. That's good. Yeah. Please direct all your complaints to Brian Crosby. Because I'm sure there's plenty of them after that slide.
I will say, I would have thought there would be way more pictures of you guys, like, taking jabs at each other as well. I'm surprised there's not.
We'll get there. All right. So my final topic for the evening, or for my final thought, umbrella projects are better than microservices, right? Because you can deploy microservices out of an umbrella project, but it's so much easier to run them locally. So easy. It's so juicy to be able to stand up your entire project in your single local VM and start testing things on it. Every time I think about an umbrella project, I think of Rihanna. Ella, umbrella, Ella. I'm a better developer than you, trust me. So I can get away with singing badly.
You're a monster. Really. So arrogant. So full of himself.
So, of course, umbrella projects are contentious. If you've ever been associated with them or tried one out, configuration is some is a lesson to learn. There are a couple of different alternatives. There's the Poncho project, which came out of the Nerves team and their efforts to sort of take the idea of an Elixir application and apply the same level of abstraction or differentiation between other applications that all combine to make a single Nerves IoT device. The way that Elixir natively handles the difference between modules without the same headaches that an Umbrella project does give you as far as sort of enforcing a root level configuration, so that if you've got a very broad sprawling project and you've got multiple instances of a particular client somewhere in your environment, and you want to configure those differently because one particular library needs a very old version of HTTP or one of the Cowboy libraries, and another one wants to use the newest one, well, good luck doing that with an Umbrella project. But if you have a relatively simple configuration, Umbrella is an awesome way to be able to stand up your project locally, really iterate fast for testing purposes, but then still create individual releases for components when you want to deploy them, usually into a container on our good friend Kubernetes.
Yeah, can you even run Elixir without Kubernetes anymore? I don't think you can.
I don't know how to.
All right. Well, let's see. I got to do my last one. I see that there's now a child on the call. I sure hope that this slide is appropriate. You'd think I know because I definitely wrote it, right?
No comment.
Oh boy, that doesn't inspire confidence. All right, here we go. Plumbing. Joining a list of libraries building on the pipe operator, the newcomer Magritte, I don't know how to say it, Magritte? I don't know. Library offers the compelling feature of a custom operator for controlling which argument position is targeted on the right side of a pipe. This is true. There are a lot of projects that try to do this, create like a super pipe where you can place it in a certain position in the call. This one is the first one that I've seen where I really thought the approach was very interesting and potentially useful if you're into that type of thing. This is great. When I'm laying pipe in my code, I like knowing when the situation calls for it. I have the option to direct the output somewhere other than the first argument slot. This is true. That is what Magritte lets you do. It
That
lets
feels
you
good.
decide where you want to pipe code to using a ... syntax. You should check it out. Example. On special occasions like my birthday, thanks, Jeff. That's good. Oh wait, where'd I go? There we go. And he made a nice, terrible GIF to go with it. Well, that concludes our talk, or whatever this abomination was. I hope it was enjoyable for everyone. Like the many slides have said, please direct all complaints to Brian Crosby, who can probably be reached in many ways on the Elixir Slack. If you tweet at Columbus RB or Columbus Elixir on Twitter, he'll see it there too. So yeah, definitely complain towards him, not me. Yeah. Any questions about the talk or any of the topics we discussed?
I say a round of applause. That was fun.
Yay!
Especially for trying something completely new and out of the box.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, thanks to Jeff for making it weird in many places. Appreciate that. Thanks to Greg for bringing a kid right at the last second to hear me say that last slide. Thanks, that made me feel good. Yep.
This evening was a success. I consider.
Good times.
Just from that 5 minute mark.